Alex had always felt like they were walking through life in a fog. Every day seemed like the last, a repetitive cycle of uncertainty and self-doubt. They couldn't remember the last time they felt truly confident in themselves, or when they last had a clear direction in life. Each morning was a struggle to get out of bed, the weight of the unknown pressing down on them, making it hard to breathe. They were young, but life felt like it had already passed them by. Growing up, Alex had always been told that the world was full of endless possibilities. The idea of following dreams and finding success was ingrained in them. But somewhere along the way, those ideals began to crumble. They felt trapped, overwhelmed by the pressure to achieve something great, yet unable to find the spark to move forward. Everyone around them seemed to have it figured out. Friends were excelling in their careers, making moves, taking chances, while Alex was stuck, unsure of where to even begin. One afternoon, while walking home from work, Alex's thoughts were a whirlpool of frustration. What's the point? They wondered, staring down at their feet as they walked along the quiet street. The world seemed so big, and they were so small. A feeling of insignificance crept in like a shadow, darkening everything. The weight of comparison, of seeing others succeed while they struggled, made them feel even more lost. As they walked, Alex's gaze fell upon something small lying in the dirt. It was a pebble, worn down by time, smooth and inconspicuous. It wasn't anything special, just a tiny rock that had been ground down by the forces of nature over the years. But something about it caught Alex's attention. They knelt down and picked it up, turning it over in their fingers. It was cold, yet strangely comforting to the touch. For a moment, Alex's mind quieted, as if the world had paused just for that small, insignificant object. The pebble, though so small, seemed to represent everything Alex was feeling: broken, worn out, forgotten. It had once been part of something larger, a massive boulder, perhaps, but over time, it had been chipped away, shaped by external forces until it was reduced to something so simple. Alex wondered if that was what life had done to them, chipped away at their dreams, their self-belief, until all that was left was a hollow version of who they used to be. What good was a person like them? They couldn't even remember what it was like to feel confident or sure of their place in the world. At home, Alex put the pebble on their desk, unsure why they couldn't bring themselves to throw it away. As they sat there, staring at it, a thought lingered in the back of their mind: maybe the pebble wasn't just a symbol of everything that had gone wrong in their life. Maybe it was more than that. But what did it mean? And how could something so small help them find their way out of the doubt that seemed to consume them? The inner conflict was heavy. Could this small, insignificant object really be the start of something bigger? Alex wasn't sure, but a tiny spark of curiosity flickered in their chest, daring them to look closer, to try and understand what it could teach them. Maybe, just maybe, there was more to this pebble than they thought. The days that followed were filled with uncertainty, but something had shifted within Alex. The pebble, small and unassuming, had become a constant presence on their desk. Every morning, as they sat down to start their day, their eyes would fall on it, and a strange sense of connection stirred within them. It wasn't much, just a tiny rock, but it seemed to hold a lesson Alex couldn't quite grasp. Slowly, they started reflecting on its symbolism. The more they thought about it, the more they realized that the pebble was not unlike themselves, once part of something larger, but shaped and worn down by life's pressures. One evening, while staring out of the window at the setting sun, Alex felt a sudden wave of understanding. The pebble hadn't simply been broken, it had been shaped by time, by forces beyond its control, until it became something completely unique. It wasn't useless or insignificant. It had a purpose. Alex wondered if their struggles had done the same for them. Every hardship, every failure, Every doubt might have chipped away at them, but perhaps it was these very experiences that had shaped them into something new. Something strong, resilient. The realization hit Alex like a wave. They weren't broken. They were being shaped. The thought was revolutionary. Life hadn't crushed them, it had refined them, even if it hadn't felt that way at the time. Just like the pebble, Alex had endured difficult moments, but those moments had made them stronger. It wasn't about avoiding challenges, but about facing them and allowing them to transform them into something more. Alex wasn't the same person they had been before the struggles began. They were becoming something better, something more capable. Feeling a new sense of purpose, Alex took the pebble in their hand once again and made a promise to themselves: they would no longer shy away from the challenges ahead. They would stop letting fear dictate their choices and start using each obstacle as an opportunity to grow. It was time to stop seeing themselves as small or insignificant. The pebble had taught them that even the smallest things had power, that even the weakest moments could lead to strength. If a tiny stone could be shaped into something beautiful by time and pressure, so could they. With this newfound perspective, Alex started taking small steps toward embracing their own challenges. They took on tasks they had previously avoided, like speaking up at work or making decisions without second-guessing themselves. It wasn't easy, and at times, the old doubts crept in, but they began to understand that those doubts weren't signs of failure, they were part of the process. Each time they faced a fear and pushed through, they felt stronger, more confident, and more connected to the strength within them. The turning point came when Alex was given an opportunity to lead a project at work, something they had always feared. In the past, they would have shied away, convinced that they weren't capable of leading others. But this time was different. They remembered the pebble.